On Friday, a really big whale came in and bought a ton of options for CrowdStrike. And in this video, we're going to look at the levels that they're really interesting in and where they think price could go up to, and also the time frame, and what we're going to do to try and see if we can follow along. On Friday, just before the close, a whale stepped in. Now, it could be that it was multiple buyers, but thinking that it is just actually one big whale. And that's one of the reasons why this kind of late Friday afternoon activity, when everybody was switching off and getting ready for the weekend, for somebody to come step in and put a bunch of money on CrowdStrike, seemed like that they were making a big bet and trying to cover their tracks, or just hide the fact that they were stepping in. Let's just have a look at, we'll start off by looking at existing levels, maybe some pullback areas. We do have some news this week. So the FOMC, Jerome Powell is going to be releasing the interest rates. We've been stuck at 5.5, so there's a chance that we could stay at that level. The markets are actually looking for rates to start pulling back. So more than anything, the statement and the press conference later will probably have a bigger impact on prices than actual Fed funds rates. So very few people are expecting the rate to go up. There is a reasonable amount of betting that the rates will come down. It's just nobody knows when they're going to come down. So a really big surprise would be if rates went up. That would just shock the market, and we could see prices fall 5-10%. That'll be super bearish. So we're not expecting that. Base case is rates stay the same, but we get a lot of volatility off the statement, and in particular looking out for signs that the statement is going to push back the time when they're going to cut rates. So that's expectation. I think that we might get some negativity coming out of the statement, in which case prices could pull back. So if we want to get into a swing along with our kind of massive buyer on Friday, they aped in, but they're locked in for a period of time. We'll talk about how long that they're locked in for. And we could ape in here and just ignore price fluctuations until they reach target. Or we could look for a pullback scenario. So my base case is to try and find a pullback. And part of the reason for that is we've got some news events coming up this week, but also seasonality. Seasonality going out into late April, mid-May is reasonably bearish. So that's the other reason I'm not really looking to enter into long positions yet. And I think there's plenty of time to find a good optimal entry for CrowdStrike. So what could that be? So if we just look at the Fibonacci swings, let's put on our magnet. I'm going to go from that low, or that swing high, to this swing low pivot. And we're going to do a swing. And we can see that we've hit 127 as resistance, and we've pulled back from there. So that 127 or 354 is going to remain as resistance. So every time price gets there, we're looking for price to react negatively until we kind of breach it and we kind of sustain. We're on a weekly level, but if we can sustain, I don't know, 2 or 3 4-hour sessions, maybe a couple of days above that, then really we're looking for prices to go higher, which is what the whale's looking for. They didn't enter a massive position on the Friday close at 315 expecting it to just go up a little bit. They think it's going to go much higher, so we'll come back to that in a second. In terms of where can the market pull back to, let's do another swing from the pivot low to the pivot high, pull back. So it has hit this 23%, bounced off it, but it might be heading back. This candle here is a little bit bearish, so it could be heading back. Now, does it find support here and then push back up, or does it kind of try and find support, fail, and come back here? That is an option. The other option that I'm looking out for is, if we can find our drawing tools, never there when you want them. There we go. There's this one here. So this particular candle here, really interested in this. It could end up being tested for support where it has been here, but we could come back. So we could come back through again, push up, and then come down. So this kind of area really is where I'm looking for potential buying opportunities. If prices do come back, they may not, they may find a support here and push up. That is always an option. But this for me is an area that I'm particularly interested in. If price can't hold the 38, so I might get into a swing around these levels, swing long, with a view to holding it. But if we start to lose these levels, I'll either hedge to maintain the current position value, or cut and wait for pullbacks, because if we pull back to the 50%, that should hold, but there's always a risk that it could come back to the 61. That is such a big drop that I'm not expecting it. So that's probably why it feels like this area could provide some level of support if we get back here. If we start to fail, then hedge and maybe get out rather than holding through, even if we expect prices to go higher. So this whale, what are they looking for? It looks like that they are interested, and they've taken a swing position going out to, let me just put that there for now. They've put a swing position that really they've given themselves until the first week of Jan 2026. So they've given themselves plenty of time. And in that time frame, price could go straight up, it could go sideways, come down, or it could do a combination of both, right? But where they think that price is going to get to by the first week of January 26 is 480, which from where we are, that is quite a decent move. So what they are looking for is, from where we are, where they entered on Friday, they're looking for price to go up by about 50%, which is quite a decent move. So that's why I'm interested in this. They spent either a person or a group of people spent just under 3 million in premiums buying longs going out to January and targeting the 480 as a minimum. It could go, once it's at 480, it could go to 500. So we'll mark off those two values. So 480 exactly, and then we'll mark off the 500, which is a round number resistance level. So expecting, if price does get up to the 500, because it's a big psychological round number, that is definitely a take profit area, expecting price to pull back and then reassess. So really bullish activity on CrowdStrike. Really want to see if we can find a good entry point and follow along. One of the things we're going to do is look for volume signatures in particular. So on a weekly basis, we've got strong volume momentum, and we want to see that hold up. We've got a pullback that's generating here. So volume momentum is slightly shifting to the downside. So we could see a pullback and then a kind of like a push up. Volume momentum on a weekly, looking great, pretty good. On the daily though, it's fallen off here. And that's where we've seen some weakness coming into the market. So gonna stay away, watching price, waiting for volume momentum to start rebuilding And then first signs that we see this slowly building up, and depending on where price is, that's going to be an entry trigger that I'm going to be looking into. All right, so CrowdStrike looks like got a bit of a weight in terms of the expectation that this is going to take a while to play out, but as a decent return, 50% over the next year and a bit, 18 months or so, not a bad return on investment, provided we can get a good deal on entry. All right, let's keep up with CrowdStrike.